We have to peep consistency. I don't like labeling motherfuckers. I don't like calling people things and saying what they are. But when you peep the consistency of somebody, then the label fits. If I keep seeing Kobe get buckets, Kobe's a scorer. If I keep seeing Michael Jackson do the moonwalk and dance spectacularly, I'm going to call him a great dancer. If I keep seeing Stephen A. protect white supremacy and do and act a certain way to keep his dollar, I am going to call it an act of cooning. It's your boy Dame. Subscribe to Dame's World. This ain't me calling anybody a coon, but this is me pointing out when somebody is cooning. When you go against an idea to attack white supremacy consistently, somebody has to ask you what side you on. Somebody has to ask you, what are you really fighting for? Are you fighting for the dollar in which white supremacy controls, or are you fighting for the citizens and the people? This is another argument, but let's go down the line. When Kaepernick kneed, Stephen A. adamantly against it. When Eric Reed and Kaepernick tried to devise a new players agreement, it was co-opted by Malcolm Jenkins and the owners. Stephen A. was adamantly against Eric Reed, which he apologized because he realized the player agreement wasn't shit. When Kyrie and Dwight talk about boycotting, one of the biggest measures you can do against white supremacy, Stephen A. again is adamantly against it. Peep the consistency of Stephen A. and Charles Barkley. Let's listen to this.
Respond to a couple different things that some that you sparked in my head as you were talking. Number one, sure. Kids, when you hear that money ain't anything, don't listen to that person. That person's a fool. But when you hear that money is everything, don't believe that either. In China, they have economic choice. That's how they've managed to suppress.
Stephen A. was agreeing heavy when he said money. When he said money is something, but when he said money ain't everything, Stephen A. was like, I don't know. So peep his mind state out the gate. It's capitalistic. Classism entails racism subtly.
Or repress their population because they've given them economic choice, but they don't have political choice. They don't have freedom of expression, the freedom of speech. They don't have a whole bunch of freedoms, but they have a certain degree of economic freedom, and that ain't the whole.
Let me break that down. When he says money isn't everything, they have economic choice in China. Black people may have a little bit of economic choice here, but they don't have political freedom. They don't have freedom of speech. So he's saying, while you saying money is everything, Stephen A., and you keep talking about money for this plight, there are other things that are being overlooked for the sake of get the dough.
Shooting match by a long shot. Secondly, I want to talk about this idea that in this case, black players, because Kyrie Irving, Dwight Howard are speaking from the point of view of African American players specifically, and African American people in this country. There's a sense among white people. This has been going on for some time. At least since civil rights, but it even predates that. Come on, things are good enough. Things are good enough for you. If they're normal enough. So, if you, little by little, if you just play ball, so to speak, you'll be able to dig yourself out generation after generation of this whole...
The false promise of white supremacy. If you lace up your bootstraps and go within the system will finally uplift itself. Wrong. The system will be the system. And they'll give you crumbs while exploiting you.
That we put you in. So it's normal enough. So really what's being asked of these players now, and it's not just being asked of these players, it's being asked of first responders, etc., because this disease has disproportionately affected African Americans, is let's get back to normal. Do your best. Come on, help us get back to the normal that we've enjoyed largely at your expense. And the players are saying, wait a minute. Now, if we have this position of leverage, if you really want us to do this, not just for their pay, Stephen A., because ultimately you and I agree that I think it's in the best interest of the players, even in terms of the causes they're interested in, to play. It amplifies their message. It gives them a platform. It's financially lucrative for them, and they can do good with that too. So we agree, but I'm talking about their message and why it makes sense to me, and I think it's actually a close call. They're saying, if you want us to bring it back back to normal, then the normal for us has to be more like the normal for you.
That's simple. Normal for y'all is fucked up for us. If it goes back to normal, we go back to being black in a system of white supremacy. So maybe hooping ain't the best idea right now. Maybe entertainment period ain't the best idea for us black people to be buying into right now.
Agree with that message. I don't have to go ad hominem at Kyrie or Dwight and kill the message.
I don't have to go ad hominem at Kyrie or Dwight. Great statement, because Stephen A said it was dumb, idiots. He dismissed it as being stupid. When you do ad hominem name calling, you redirect the argument. Stick to the argument without name calling. That's what Stephen A did with Dwight and Kyrie.
Messenger.
A lot of emotion from Stephen A's argument, not a lot of ration.
I agree with the message itself.
Emotion.
Max, here's my problem. I am entitled, and I'm not directing this at you, I'm just talking to you. I am entitled to disagree with them without being accused of attacking them.
True, but once you use stupid and idiot, then it changes. It looks like an attack.
I'm attacking what you do. Meaning that if I'm not talking about Kyrie the person. I'm not talking about Kyrie the man. I'm not talking about Kyrie the basketball player. I'm talking about the Kyrie statement. The statement is what I have an issue with, because it makes no sense to me. I'm entitled to sit up there as a black man and to say, yo, from a historical perspective, from a today relevant modern perspective, it makes no sense. You can't sit up there. Of course, money's not everything, Max. But in the end, when we talk about what the NFL is giving, when we talk about what the NBA is giving, what we talk about what the players and others in the black community are in pursuit of to help our communities, uplift our communities, and stop subjugating and minimizing and dehumanizing us.
He said it's not about money, but he's saying we need the money. Listen to what he's saying. He's saying it's not about money, but he's saying the only way we're going to uplift ourselves is with the money.
That takes money. It's not just a symbolic.
So he didn't dismiss anything Max said. He didn't discredit it because it was valid logic. But he's just saying, I understand it, but we need money. When you have black consciousness all thinking they need money, we're enslaved for life.
Gesture. It doesn't just take a knee. It takes you marching up on Capitol Hill. It takes you elevating the level of awareness. It takes you mobilizing and galvanizing folks to go on Capitol Hill to make sure and incentivizing the Stephen Rosses of the world.
I don't disagree with that. He's making some good points now.
Okay, the Robert Krafts of the world, the Arthur Blanks of the world, and that's just football. I'm talking all of them. Dan Snyder, yes, Jerry Jones too, and others. It takes all of them. You've got the muscle and the connections and the cachet to go make a difference. In the NBA, whether it's Fertitta, it's Joe Lacob, it's even James Dolan, the list goes on and on. All of them, Peter Holt, everybody. You've got the connections to make this difference. So go ahead and do that. But even in doing so, there are still other things that you do that lead to economic empowerment. It is not a crime to admit that at the end of the day, that's what you're after. So if that's what you're after, if you are a player that already has that as a collective body, a league, why would you be talking about compromising the leadership of the Players Association? If you're Kyrie Irving, why the hell didn't Adam Silver hear this from you? You're on the executive committee. You're under the leadership of Chris Paul. Are you trying to say that Chris Paul doesn't know what he's doing? LeBron James?
Why are you taking it there and stirring it up? This is where I'm going to stop, because it gets to 9 minutes and 10 minutes. As you see, Stephen A. is getting more emotional than rational. He's questioning Kyrie's integrity. Whereas the initial essential point is boycotting the league. The benefits, the pros, and the cons. We know that there's pros to coming back. We get entertained and dumbed down. But there's financial benefits. There's a more, I guess, blissful frequency of love. People are going to be happy again, but it's going to be under the bliss of being ignorant to what's going on in life. So you have to talk about the cons, Stephen A. Acknowledge Max's cons to coming back. Acknowledge Max's pros to boycotting. And I feel like Stephen A. is too consistent with not acknowledging black power. He wants black infiltration. It's Malcolm's, and then there's Martin's. Dang.